We're Tony and Chelsea Northrup, and today we have the brand new Sony a7 Mark II, Sony's full-frame mirrorless camera. And they're kind of important. It's not their first one, but these full-frame mirrorless cameras mean you can get all the image quality of a top-end DSLR in a much smaller package.
Yeah, it's so small and manageable. But before we tell people whether or not they can make the change, we have to answer a few questions, like, are the mirrorless cameras actually better? They have a really cool EVF, they're a great size, but can they really replace a DSLR? Not to mention, can you get the right lenses to go with it? Sure, the camera body's great, but can the lenses be practical? Can you use them when you're taking pictures? Are they good? Are they sharp? And how about the in-body image stabilization?
Yeah, it's a really cool feature that's new in this camera, the first full-frame mirrorless with image stabilization built in. You put a fast prime like that 55mm f1.8 and handhold pictures in low light, much lower than you could with any DSLR, because the primes don't have image stabilization built in.
And lastly, if you already have the A7, is it worth the upgrade? So stay tuned, because we'll be testing all of it.
Yeah.
You dropped something. It's a binky.
Very mature, Chelsea.
He gets cranky.
Hello.
Hi, 3 adults, please.
You're all set.
Thank you.
Enjoy your day.
Tony, get at the end of this tunnel. I'm over here! I'm over here! Oh no!
Ooh, I didn't see him coming. The biggest challenge of shooting in aquariums is the glare on the glass. So I try to find a place where the glass is in shadow, and if I need to, I'll put my hand right over it and block it so that I don't see any glare when looking through the camera.
You are so cute!
Buddy?
Oh my god, it's so cute! Look at his eyes, he's really looking at us. This one of you is really nice. See?
Oh, I love his little sounds.
He either loves me or wants to eat my face off. Which one is it?
Aww.
We had 3 of them. The year before we had 2 of them.
Guys are so fast. I'm having a hard time getting some of these in focus. I feel like it just won't lock the focus in the right place. Like it takes too long. By the time it focuses, my subject has moved.
Here, trade cameras with me. See how it does with this SLR.
Okay.
They have about the same lens on them. Oh my goodness, just hunting.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is much easier to get a moving subject in focus.
Yeah, it just snaps into focus, right?
Yeah.
Well, this a7II has about the best focusing of any mirrorless camera they've ever made. It's got phase detect on the sensor and such, but still not the same as a DSLR.
Yeah, and that's important because you can see where they're swimming right here. They're swimming into the light, and I just have a fraction of a second to get them in focus. And that was just taking too long.
Leave your kit lenses at home because they're just too slow for the low light of an aquarium. I prefer a fast prime, like even a 50mm f1.8, which can be pretty inexpensive. It's going to let in a lot more light, allow you to use lower ISOs and get faster shutter speeds to freeze the action.
I second what Tony said. You don't really need anything more than a 50mm because if you have to have a long focal length for something underwater, you're just gonna lose image quality because the water is so foggy and it's not clear. So 50mm and lower is just fine.
Come on, focus, you piece of shit.
Did you just call that a piece of shit?
Yeah, just because it's a piece of shit.
Mine's gonna be better.
That's probably the case.
Beautiful, so seasoned.
The electronic viewfinder also gives me like a permanent depth of field preview, so I know exactly what's going to be in focus.
This needs a little cutout of Nicki Minaj. Have you guys seen the Anaconda video? It's pretty much just like this. You've got to see it, Justin. How do they stay so like perfectly still, you know?
They are ugly. In dark aquariums like this, especially for animals that are nocturnal, it's really tough to get a decent picture. If they're holding still, I like to use a really slow shutter speed. The steady shot inside, the built-in image stabilization on this lets me use a fast lens and get slow shutter speeds. So I'm shooting at 1/10 of a second, handheld, taking lots of pictures, and that's letting me use an ISO of 100 or 200 and to get really clean, sharp pictures of the animals. In dark environments like this, the EVF, electronic viewfinder, brightens everything up. It almost gives you night vision. Works great for night photography too. With an optical viewfinder, you just see kind of what you see. But with this, it's actually brighter than you can see with your eyes, helping you focus and get the shot. That's how I would design a fish. They look badass. Right. These low light environments, you're always trying to get the lowest ISO you can. So I put my camera in manual mode, use the lowest f-stop I can, set auto ISO so the camera adjusts that automatically. It's going to be high sometimes, but what can you do? And then I adjust the shutter speed according to how much the animal is moving. If a fish is mostly still but moving a little bit, I'll put it at 1/60th. If it's moving quickly, I might go up to 1/125th or 1/250th. Take lots of pictures because many of them will be out of focus or blurry, but you just have to keep a few. The steady shot on this camera is also good for video. So let's try to get some video and see how shaky it is just handheld. It does an okay job focusing, but without a touch screen, you have to move the camera and shake it while you're trying to change focusing points, so it doesn't work all that well. You kind of end up focusing first. So let's turn steady shot on. That's good, it looks smoother to me. It's nice that you can use prime lens handheld for video now. You gonna trade cameras again? Get some more time with the A7?
Yeah. Whoa.
Oh, it's coming right at us. Look at this.
He looks really curious. One thing I hate about this is that I have a hard time changing the focus point.
Those are so crazy looking.
These are so cool.
So we have to answer, if you have an existing Alpha 7 and you like it, should you upgrade? Only for the low light capabilities. You know, they've moved a few buttons around, the grip is deeper. But if you want to use a fast prime with image stabilization, it's the only real full frame mirrorless camera in the world that can do it, and it works fantastically. So if that's what you want, that's great. They also improved the autofocus between versions. They say about 30%. But if you're having issues with autofocus, it might be time just to move up to an SLR. Because even though this is supposedly one of the best autofocusing mirrorless cameras in the world, and we've tested them all, none of them are as good as even base level DSLRs at tracking focus. But what did you think, Chelsea? Is the focus good enough?
I think it's good enough. I think that if you're just, as long as you're not doing wildlife or sports, I think you can pretty much get away with it. A few times today I had trouble with the moving animals, but they were swimming really fast. It's basically sports speeds. But I really like it as a walking around camera and a general camera. I liked it a lot. How about you?
I thought so too. I thought I would pick the A7 the next time I went to the aquarium. It didn't focus quite as well, but the electronic viewfinder is so useful. And the difference in size and weight makes a difference.
It made a difference for me, actually. How did you feel about the lens lineup? There are 6 now, they have 1 more coming out. But do you think that could be enough for you? Do you think you could cross over based on that?
I'm kind of spoiled based on the 150 lenses that Nikon and Sony and Nikon and Canon and Micro Four Thirds have.
Yeah.
But I think they have enough lenses for most people. They have a fast prime, they have a couple of zoom lenses. They don't have any f2.8 zooms.
How about the our Canon lenses with the adapters?
Yeah, that was terrible, right? Yes,
yeah.
Just appalling. They work fine with manual focus. You get great image quality, but technically they autofocus, but they don't autofocus.
Yeah, they didn't.
So no moving subjects, you're gonna have to be able to take your time. But the focus peaking works pretty well, so that does help you manually focus.
So overall, I love the camera, but I do have a few gripes.
Yeah.
The menu system I thought was appalling. The buttons can be a bit clumsy to use. So if you're trying to change your focusing point, for example, you have to press C2 here and move around this dial, and you end up doing all sorts of things you didn't need to do. It spins. You also click it, but it's not clearly defined. I ended up fumbling all around. I thought it might just be me. I handed it off to a few other people, and they were having the same problems.
Yeah, the Canon and Nikon big DSLRs have little joysticks that let you pick the focusing point. You go down to the Olympus and Panasonic Micro Four Thirds mirrorless cameras, and they have touch screens, so you can just touch the screen. This is the worst of both worlds. No joystick.
I think that's the downside of having a small camera. It's compatible. I love carrying it around, but it doesn't have enough room to have big, comfortable buttons on it, and that's going to take some getting used to.
Yeah.
And I think I'll have to cut my nails to make it a little bit easier too.
It's a big sacrifice.
Big sacrifice.
So the a7II, it's a hit. It's not for everybody.
I love it.
But for walking around camera, beautiful image quality, and a small package. What if they want more free videos like this, Chelsea?
Make them yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
No, you can subscribe to our channel, and if you aren't a cheapskate and you want to learn a lot and you're willing to spend $9,
$9?
you can get our book, Stunning Digital Photography, and learn way more about taking pictures. And if you love to edit them, you can buy our book, Lightroom 5.
And if you want to learn more about gear, check out my photography buying guide, which has a ton of detail. We make these videos specifically for it. We're constantly researching new gear and new techniques, so check them out. They all come with free updates. Thanks so much.
Thank you.